Good afternoon, all you awesome people. How are y'all doing today? I'm doing pretty well myself, and I hope you are too. Welcome to the channel. My name is Doodleman149, and as always, I'll be your host today. I'm looking to do something a little different today. While this video is still gaming oriented, it's not really about any one game. Instead, I'm going to try and discuss gaming friends. You know, the people you game with. I'm basically going to cover the different types of gaming friends and how to make new ones. Kind of an odd topic, but I'm an odd guy, so let's get right into this. So before I get into where to find your new gaming friends, if in fact you want some, I figured I'd go over what I feel makes the ideal gaming buddy. First off, what should you two have in common? Ideally, having the same gaming platform is best because crossplay can be a touchy subject for competitive games, and crossplay party chat is only doable via a third-party app like Discord. I game on Xbox, so I primarily only play with Xbox people. Just makes it easier to communicate and squad up that way. Second, less important than the first but still important, is that you and your buddy live in the same time zone. This means that you'll both be able to reasonably play at the same time without inconveniencing anyone. For example, Fun White Kid, Freaky Haircut, Anti-Dark Magic, and I all live in the eastern time zone of the US, so when I'm on around 9 PM at night, it isn't really out of the realm of possibility to play together. On the other hand, Justin and Neo, Joker J98 and Mad Keela respectively, both live in the mountain time zone and are thus 2 hours behind me. Up until recently, this had made gaming with them much harder because they would get on around 8 PM their time, which would be 10 PM for me, previously leaving me only a half hour of gaming time left. My current schedule, however, is different and allows for us to game together more, but it's still not ideal. At the far end of the spectrum, Justin, Neo, and I played with an Australian Laziz back in Battlefield 4. So while I was on all hours of the day back then, for real life, playing with him is basically impossible. Another thing to consider when looking for gaming buddies is to make sure you both enjoy the same genre of game. If you prefer RTS games on a PC, you can't really expect an Xbox gamer who primarily plays shooters to take an interest in your games. While you can certainly get people to try out new genres of games, seeing as I got freaking Fun White Kid to play Ark after all, this doesn't really work out well in the long run, as they'll probably only end up playing with you for you instead of, for their own enjoyment. And lastly, something that could be more important than you think is age. While you don't need to be the same age as your gaming friends, being at least within the same generation is helpful on a number of levels. 1. No one wants to play with a squeaker except other squeakers, and even they don't want to all the time. Plus, playing with a literal child as someone in their mid-20s is weird, so don't be doing that. I haven't personally run into someone significantly older than me during my gaming career, but I feel like a late 20-something playing with a 50-year-old is better than the reverse. Now that we've all looked at the ideal traits to look for in a gaming buddy, let's take a look at some of the best places and methods to meet new people to game with. First off, and this should be obvious, is that real-life friends make the best gaming friends. Typically, your real-life friends meet all the criteria for an ideal gaming buddy. Roughly the same age, usually the same time zone, and the same system is more likely if you've grown up gaming together. Genre is personal taste, so that can't really be accounted for. My best example of a real-life gaming buddy is Fun White Kid. He's a year younger than me, we went to the same high school, we live in the same general area, and we both enjoy shooters. All 4 boxes checked. Outside of gaming, there's also the upside of having someone to hang out with and do other activities with, and you can casually chat about gaming in general as well. There's not really any drawbacks to this type of gaming friend. My next suggestion is finding a friend through a streamer. Now, I'm not exactly advocating befriending a streamer themselves because they're likely going to be too preoccupied doing lame-ass streamer stuff, like talking to people you can't see or interact with, but it's easy enough to find a gaming friend through their audiences. If you are both watching the same streamer, you must have an interest in the game that's being shown, so the genre box is thus checked. From here, you'll just need to find the other traits within the audience. My best example of this is Freaky Haircut. We used to watch a Fortnite streamer back in the pre-season days of Fortnite, and we started playing together from there after just a few matches with the streamer himself. He's 6 or so years younger than me, so the age box is half checked. We enjoy the same games, he happens to live in my time zone, and we're both on Xbox, so bam, all 4 boxes are checked. To a lesser degree, Anti-Dark Magic started playing Battlefield with me after subscribing to me on YouTube, so while he managed to play with the content creator himself, more often than not, when using the streamer tactic to find a friend, look to the audience instead of the creator. The next best bet is using Xbox's looking for a game feature. I'm not sure if PlayStation or PC has a similar system in place, but looking for a game is basically like posting an ad to all of Xbox stating the specifics of what you are looking for in a party. You can set the number of requested participants, the game, the party start time, other things. It's easy enough to post and to look for a party to join. This at least ticks the genre and system boxes, as you'll need to be on Xbox to use it, and if you're both looking for the same game, then that's self-explanatory. An age requirement can be set in the looking for a game feature, but this isn't exactly a coded regulation, it's just more of a suggestion from the post creator. The time zone issue is also resolved because posting a time showcases that the time that would be best to party up in. This means if people can party up, they typically can repeat that party time. The only drawbacks to this is that these people are essentially randoms. They are filtered randoms, but they're randoms nonetheless. You can find some seriously annoying people through this, so keep that in mind. Second from last place, we have partying up with enemies in competitive games. Now, typically people only do this to talk shit and yell at each other, but just because you and another player are on opposite teams doesn't mean you have to be personal enemies. If you recognize someone's skill that you're playing against and they recognize yours, try reaching out to see if they want to play sometimes. Could turn a huge foe into a great ally. The drawbacks of this are you can't plan for it. Encountering such a person is random and there's no guarantee for the age or time zone traits. Heck, even with crossplay, the platform requirement isn't always met. At least you can basically ensure that the genre box is ticked. And in last place, the least best way to get new gaming friends is through randoms. By this, I mean literally talking to the random people shooters match you up with. Whether this is the terrible other 5 players in your COD domination match or the other 3 people you get squatted up with in Battlefield. Sometimes these players can work out and become good gaming friends, but more often than not, they end up being a huge waste of time. However, oddly enough, Neo and Justin were exactly that when I met them. We just happened to be in the same BF4 squad on Operation Locker. Neo noticed I was doing really well and he invited me to a party. You see, I was far less outgoing back then. And from there, I met Justin, and we've just been gaming together for almost a decade now. They're still my oldest gaming buddies, and they were just randoms. Sometimes it works out. With them, the age box is half-ticked because I believe I'm also 6 years or so older than them. The time zone box is blank because they live in Colorado. The genre box is good because, well, we met playing a military shooter, and we're on the same system because back in the 360 days, there wasn't any stupid-ass cross-platform nonsense. Ah, the good old days. So now that I've discussed all the best ways to find new gaming friends, I feel it's my duty to also tell you about some precautions you should take as well. Most of these are not so serious, but should be considered anyway. If you happen to meet someone cool at a bizarre hour, say you're gaming at midnight and they're 4 hours ahead of you, don't expect to be able to play with them again. More often than not, that was a one-off good gaming session. You can still try to reach out again, but just don't get your hopes up. Also, don't look for gaming friends during a time you're abnormally on. If you can't make a commitment to a time to play, don't expect them to adjust their schedule to you. Next, don't try to force people to play outside of their genre, especially if you're newly formed gaming buddies. If you meet on COD and they express no interest in a survival game, do not keep trying to get them to play one with you. If they concede to it down the road, then that's fine, but don't try to shove your gaming interest down your throat, especially if they aren't real-life friends as well. And lastly, if you're young, and I mean early to mid-teens or younger, don't be playing with someone in their 20s. It's weird. They're weird, and the situation could get very weird very quickly. Try to stick with people your own age and don't give out any contact info outside the game unless you know you can trust these people. And never meet up with a gaming friend you've just met if they're much older than you. They're probably a pedophile. I'm the oldest out of my gaming friends group, so I don't have to worry about being preyed upon, but I also don't game with young people. I'll chat with you on YouTube and whatnot, but if you're in your teens, do not expect to play with me. And there it is, folks, all my thoughts on the best practices to find new gaming friends and what to look for in those friends. This was a different kind of video, but I really enjoyed making it. What do y'all think of my points? Are any of them valid, or would you add any more? Let me know down below. So I hope you're all having a great day, and I hope you're all staying sane out there, because I know it can be tough sometimes, but you just gotta keep your head on straight. Until we chat again, I've been your host, Doodleman149. You've all been awesome, and I will see you later.